I thought that it was really dangerous.
It's something no one's really done it before, at least not on that type of boat, so.
You need a lot of courage to do that. Like, I would never, ever be able to do something like that. Especially do it alone, because you need the mentality to do it, and it's pretty crazy.
So we arrived yesterday night to Newport, and we are going right now to find Speedy Gonzalez. It was really cool to see the boat again, and then we immediately moved into trying to get the boat ready as fast as possible. We're in quite a big yard, and you know everything in Newport is super yachty, so the logistics of trying to find some different materials and things can be different from what we're used to in Europe.
What are you doing?
Trying to connect to the Iridium. This is the first time I fired up the computer on board. Kidding. So we're trying to connect to the Iridium, making sure everything works. The brain is underneath with the EFOI and all that stuff, so I just kind of got everything packed in. And now I'm just trying to see how everything works.
I was definitely more worried about him doing the transatlantic record than during the mini Transat, because he was going to be at some point, you know, all alone with nobody really nearby. You know, of course, there's always the fear that he's going to fall overboard and not be attached and things like this. But on the other hand, he had, you know, a computer on board. He was looking at the weather. He had a satellite phone, Iridium Go. He was fully connected. There was a tracker on board. There was a black box on board. So all that kind of like safety was in place, and that, you know, gives you like a sense of confidence and security.
I've always really liked that challenge. It's very difficult. It's not like the Transat because you have more consistent conditions. They're more predictable. These conditions, it can be all really anything. I mean, sometimes it could be absolutely no wind, or sometimes upwind, or sometimes hurricanes, or sometimes a perfect, beautiful passage, and other times terrible, terrible weather. For the most part, the weather routing looks really good, so I'm feeling good. There's no hurricanes for the moment. The boat's just about as best ready as it ever has been. I'm feeling good. I'm a little tired, but looking forward to going offshore. I love the North Atlantic. It's definitely one of my favorite places to sail. Come here, more. I love you, love.
I love you, Bill.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's
Go.
send you up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give it a little. Yeah. Take the line off.
Well, I really felt that the transatlantic record was different than the mini Transat. It felt more, I don't know, like a personal project. It felt more intimate, I guess, in a way, because it was just like the two of us. There wasn't all the like hustle and bustle and all the extra things from like a big race like the mini Transat, no? Ciao, mi amor! Woohoo!
Good luck!
We've gone 60 days without a named storm, and today we've got one. Danielle.
Strengthening tropical storm that will likely become a hurricane.
We're going to monitor Danielle as it will continue to strengthen.
It has been declared a hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour.
Keep that in mind, that it is not going to be okay to be out in the water, as the waves are going to be very, very angry.
12 hours later, it would turn into a depression, and then 12 hours later is a tropical storm, and then 12 hours later it was a hurricane, and its trajectory was going basically right where I was. Every time I would download the weather, I was kind of hoping, and I would continue on a little bit farther, going, okay, when I reach Newfoundland, it's really your last jump off point. And it just kept deteriorating and kept deteriorating. I was left with two options. So one option was that I would have to sail upwind all the way to 60 degrees north, which is essentially Iceland, and then coming upwind all the way to France. It would have took like forever. Or the option was to turn and go downwind around Danielle, which would have been normally an okay option, because then the hurricane's going to keep going up, so you're going down, it's usually okay. But the issue was then quickly behind it was Earl, so then we had Earl was coming up, another hurricane. I'd have to sail in front of one hurricane and behind another, squished in between, basically a hurricane sandwich. Never a good idea in any boat, not even in a Mocha. I really was left with no choice because those were my options, which is not really an option. I've been coming back ever since this morning when I took the decision. I hove to for a while. The corridor that was going to be open, that was looking quite nice for me to get to France, is completely shut down over the last 24, 48 hours.
When Jay made the decision to abandon the Transatlantic Record and head back to store the boat for the winter, he called me, and immediately I said, well, we're going to do it again, no?
What do I think about him doing it again? 1, crazy, and 2, crazy.
Poppy's got guts.
What was the hardest moment?
Hardest one moment. Hardest one moment. I don't know if I had like a hardest one moment. It was kind of just the whole moment was hard.
He's already tried once. This is his second attempt. There's more people that climbed Mount Everest than have done this.
Did I have any doubts for the second attempt? No, I never really doubted Jay. I mean, I know he's a super good sailor. I knew that this time was the good time.
I was more prepared this time than I was the time before. I had more time to really organize. I had more time when I brought the boat from St. Pierre to New York. I had time to look at the boat and really decide what I needed to do and what was important to change, and then I was able to go back to France and build the pieces, and I really felt like I was able to get all the little things done that I wanted to, that I had kind of in the back of my head of the first time.
Why are you doing this Transatlantic Record? Why is this important to you?
First, it's most important to me personally because I built the boat and I wanted to do the whole loop of the Atlantic after doing the mini Transat. It's just a dream of mine that I've always had, to bring the boat back home on its own keel, basically. And secondly, it's to prove that it's a safe boat and also to inspire others to do the same. I'm just heading out right now. You can see crazy Manhattan behind me. Motion is feeling good. It always feels good when you get to leave the dock because sitting around before you leave always feels a bit strange and restless. So things are looking good. I'm feeling good. So, ciao. We have just crossed the starting line for the Transatlantic Record. The buoy right behind me that you see there, that is the Ambrose Light. A little over 24 hours finished. It's been very light wind, much lighter than was planned. So hopefully the wind comes in, but other than that, it's all good. So we're under spinnaker. I'm running away right now from a lightning storm. There was a couple lightning strikes that hit the water, and they were pretty close. It's a little worrying for all the electronics on board, of course, because if you have an issue, it can really easily, even if you don't get a strike, it can kill your wind instruments just from being around the storm because there's so much electrical activity. So hopefully gonna fare okay on this one. So far, it's been adventurous this 36 hours. Spinnaker time. It's been quite light winds. Passed a lot of wildlife. That's been the benefit of the light winds. A lot of sharks, a lot of whales, a lot of dolphins, tuna fish as well. Big school of tuna fish. Kind of wish I was fishing, but then you see the size of them and they're about the size of the boat, so then you decide not to. It is day 4
The last 24 hours have been quite good. I did about 200 nautical miles in 24 hours, which is the first decent 24 hours that I've done. The bad news is that this morning when I was taking down the spinnaker, I tore it on the end of the foil, and I tore it pretty good. Took me at least 4 or 5 hours to do the repair, to let it dry, and then you have to tape the seam and then tape both sides. So as you can see, it's right there, those little funny marks. So it's looking pretty good. I'll give it a little massage once it comes down to make sure it's nice and sticky now that it's been kind of stretched out, and then everything should be good. I was inside the boat and there's just like this bang, and I instantly, just in 2 seconds, you're outside. And I see the last bit of the spinnaker falling into the water, and the boat just running over the spinnaker, and the bowsprit is just like starting to go ding, 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 ding. And I reach over and I'm just able to open the blocker that holds the spinnaker pull. And so the moment I opened it, then the thing goes off to the side instead of getting pulled underneath the boat, because the dyneema is not going to break. It's going to be part of the boat that breaks. So I just was able, but it came literally just not even a second later. It probably would have broke, and it would have been totally different experience if that would have happened. It would have took me a lot longer. Otherwise, feeling good. Day 4 is always an interesting day because you're finally into the rhythm of the sea, of being on board, of your tiny place, of eating, of drinking, of sleeping on board, which allows you some time to be able to reflect on other things, I think. And I remember this morning as well, I got a little bit of an overwhelming feeling, which is kind of quite normal at the beginning of a passage, because at first when you leave, you're so dedicated your time to getting everything done, to be able to, you don't have time to think. But now once you have a moment, you realize like, okay, I got this huge Atlantic in front of me. We're at the beginning, so keep calm and go in a straight line. So that's the deal. But yeah, feeling good, feeling happy. We have just 3 reefs in the main, that's it. We have about 28 to 38 knots or so. In general, what's difficult about this record in particular is the overall kind of stress that you have, because you do feel that the boat is very small and is very delicate and isn't exactly made for these types of condition. It's really delicate in the way that for the North Atlantic, with the giant waves that you have there, isn't really meant for that. You always have this stress in the back of your mind that you're trying to push the boat as fast as possible, but you also realize that you're on a very small boat in a very big ocean. Super foggy. We are officially really jumping off. That's kind of, yeah, the last bit of land there. You know, to kind of leap off there is definitely a psychological step. So that's good. I'm happy to be here. Got really beat up last night, but nothing bad. The boat's doing good, and everything went to plan. Just a lot of wind. It was about 35 knots, so it was really difficult to stay that high on the Mini, and just getting everywhere. But everything worked out okay, so everything is good. Here you have that time where you're going up the coast, and then as you get to Newfoundland, and then there's definitely that moment where you say like, okay, I'm going into the Atlantic. There's nothing for the next 2,000 miles, so everything has to go perfect. You kind of take a deep breath and just go, and jumping off is really the best metaphor, because that's what it really feels like in a way. You feel like you are just kind of standing on Newfoundland, and you're just going like, okay, you're gonna jump across. It's day 8. I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean here, and you come across oil rig and their support vessels, and it's really amazing to think that they've been able to build them here out on the Grand Banks.
There's no traffic out there. It's not on the way to anything. My course took me in the path of the oil rig, so I was able to kind of get quite close, and so they called me and like, okay, you kind of have to get out of here. After that, they called me back and they told me, hey, good luck on your record, you know, we'll be following you, and so that was really cool to have that exchange. It was the first time I talked to other people for like, I don't know, 8 days or 9 days or something like that, and for them it was probably super strange, like, what is this tiny little boat doing out here in the middle of nowhere, you know, so.
Welcome aboard. It's day 10. I'm just caché in here. I'm stuck in here just hiding because it's kind of crazy out there. It's about 25 knots. Boat speed is somewhere from 10 knots to 16. I've seen some points of 18 knots, so it's been quite crazy. It's very wet. I'm super humid. I changed my clothes. I'm on my last change of clothes. And I'm a little over halfway, so that's a little non-comforting.
The most difficult thing about the whole transatlantic record is definitely being wet and cold. The Mini is so small and wet anyways, it's very difficult to dry things, and so it's literally like when you get to Newfoundland, there's so much mixing of currents. You have sometimes hot water, you have cold air, and sometimes you have the opposite. You have hot air and cold water, and so it just creates like a, you know, rain inside the boat. So even if your clothes don't get so wet, you just, everything is humid in the boat. I was just completely humid, and I remember one moment just being like, you know, shit, I have no more clothes. I'm only a week into this thing, and I've used all my clothes, so I was like in pajamas and just going like, okay, I have to be super careful not to get this wet.
So yeah, it's day 11. We just passed a flock of Arctic terns. They're an interesting bird because not only are they the most angry thing on the planet, but other than that, they have the longest migration out of any bird on the planet, or anything ever. It's pretty amazing. They go from Arctic to Antarctic every year. Hey, stay! Oh! I was really scared that it was going to land on the wind instrument and then break it, and then that would be terrible. I'd have to go up there because of a freaking bird. Things are going good. I worked a lot on the boat yesterday. I did a repair. You can see kind of the glue built up on it. That's where I put a bunch of glue on it yesterday, and you can see it's pretty good. It's very fixed now. Here we are aboard Speedy Gonzales. We have 4.5 more days to go. We're turning around a low pressure system, and then we will be lean direct straight towards Cap Lizzart, Lizzard Point, where the finish is. Woo! Feels good. Get in there, get in there. So it is day 16. The routing shows that we have 2 days left. I'm starting definitely to feel tired, and the boat is as well. Yesterday was a trying day, for sure. So, you know, there's those little things where the boat is starting to feel the age of many transats, and a lot of time away from home.
I don't think I was ever scared for his life, because I know, like, Dad for me, c'est un héros. Like, anything that he comes up against, like any peripety, any obstacle, he'll find a way to deal with it. And I was never really scared for that. I was just like wanting him to come home, basically. But yeah.
So it is day 17. It is my final day aboard Speedy Gonzales on the TransAtlantic Record attempt. It's been a long journey, so we've gone over, we've gone over 2,800 miles right now. it can be quite dangerous coming back into shore, you know, a lot of rocks, and I have to navigate through some rocks tonight on my way to Lizzard Point. Here we are, we're right at the finish. The lighthouse is just up here. We are 1 mile from the finish. We're going about 6 knots or so. Observer, Speedy Gonzalez, channel 71, over.
Speedy Gonzalez, observer, receiving you well, over. 17 days, 9 hours, 57 minutes, 43 seconds.
Thank you guys for coming out here, and I hope you guys have a warm cup of tea. And sorry I had to come in at these hours of the morning. Over.
What was it like following Papi's Transat record?
Great. I think it was super cool. He went on a boat from New York to West, and I think he was amazing.
Would you guys like to do what he did?
I don't know.
I think I would die.
I'm super proud. I'm super proud of Jay because, you know, just what he teaches, you know, our kids, just not to give up, because it definitely takes a lot of determination and a lot of strong will.
He inspires me most, I guess, by showing us and proving the whole family that anything can be done, that we have to follow our dreams, that we have to, when we have something in mind, you have to continue even though it's hard, even though we run into obstacles and all of that, like we can still do it, and we still have to continue and put all our will, everything we have, put it all into that to accomplish things.
Yeah, you have to work really hard. Faut avoir le courage. I'm super proud of him.
And how does he inspire you? What does, do you know what inspired means?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like make you like you're inspired in him. I can't explain. Like
it makes you like
feel.
No, like nothing is impossible.
Yeah.